This is Stanimir Stoilov, a man whose journey in football spans continents, decades, triumphs, and setbacks. A player turned tactician, a builder of teams, and one of the most influential figures in Bulgarian football history. Before the spotlight, Stoilov's story began on simple pitches in Haskovo, Bulgaria, where he was born in 1967. There, a young Stanimir honed his first touches, chasing a ball like any other kid, but with a spark. A vision that the ordinary would not satisfy him forever. He worked his way into professional football, landing at Levski Sofia, the club that would become his home and foundation. But his path would take him beyond Bulgaria. He ventured to Fenerbahce in Turkey, a rare and bold move for a Bulgarian player at the time, learning the game at a higher pace and intensity. Then to Portugal with Campo Maiorense, and back again to Bulgaria, where his loyalty to Levski Sofia would repeatedly draw him home. As a player, he wasn't a superstar in the traditional sense, but he was versatile, tactically intelligent, with the ability to read the game as both a midfielder and a leader on the pitch. In 2004, the game changed. Stoilov returned to Levski, not as a player, but as the head coach. What followed was nothing short of historic. Under his direction, Levski would reach the quarterfinals of the UEFA Cup in 2006, become the first Bulgarian club ever to reach the Champions League group stage in 2006-2007, win Bulgarian league titles and claim cups and super cups that had eluded the club for years. These were not just trophies, they were signs of transformation, of a coach who would pull the impossible within reach. But what makes Stoilov more than a coach? His teams typically set up in systems like 3-4-1-2 or 3-5-2, a formation designed to maintain defensive rigidity and dominate possession through numbers in midfield. They transition sharply on the counter. And this isn't accidental, it's intentional. The three defenders provide cover, the wing-backs stretch play, and the midfield becomes both shield and spear. Also, he nurtures careers. Players written off by others rediscover their form. Young talents flourish under his guidance. Because he doesn't just coach tactics, he coaches confidence. After his success at Levski, he continued his journey overseas. At FC Astana in Kazakhstan, he built a modern powerhouse, winning multiple titles and making history by guiding the club to the Champions League group stage, the first time for any Kazakh team. Stoilov's principles translate across cultures, across continents. He took charge of the Bulgarian national team in the late 2000s. It wasn't a fairy tale. Draws with rivals, tough losses, including a sting from Italy, reminded the world that international football is a different beast. In 2021, Stoilov came back to Levski, a club in crisis. Expectations were low, doubts ran high, but he saw something others had forgotten: potential. With surgical precision, he retooled the squad, letting go of underperformance and trusting the overlooked. The transformation was immediate, culminating in another Bulgarian Cup victory. In November 2023, he accepted a new challenge, becoming the head coach of Göztepe in the Turkish Super League. Since then, his impact has been notable. At Göztepe, Stoilov has managed over 80 matches, achieving a balanced record with solid wins and draws and competitive performances in the Super League. I recreated his tactic in the game, and of course, I went with a setup similar to the 3-5-2 shape. As this shape could get interpreted differently in the match engine, based on the players available in your squad, make sure to tweak as needed. I opted for a ball-playing goalkeeper as this is the modern role for the position, but a normal goalkeeper role would also work. The center-backs have been given central defender roles. I chose to use the standard roles here as the players seem more qualified for it. In a fancier setup, I would have gone with at least one ball-playing center-back, given that the defensive midfielder would cover the defensive line, so it would add an extra worry for the opposition. The fullbacks are inside wingbacks, flipping the script a bit. I initially ran this tactic with wingbacks, but it was a bit bland. I also tried a similar tactic in FN24, so I chose to go with what I knew worked. The objective of the wingbacks is to drift inwardly, collapsing the opposition's line in the process. The aim is to break their press or slow down their build-up should they lose the ball so close to our goal. As mentioned, the defensive midfielder is this, standard DM. Nothing fancy here, this player is the anchor of the team. As the wingbacks cut inside often, we need to move the center midfielders away. So, I sent one on the right flank and the other up the pitch, encouraging them to find space, exploit it, or use it to find the best possible pass forward. The strikers are a deep line forward and a poacher. The deep line forward role is important, as someone needs to link up play with the attacking midfielder, and since we lack wingers, these two players need to work in sync. The poacher's role is to attack space and move into channel, making everything possible to score. I built the tactic on a control possession template. Not the healthiest of the approaches for a team like Göztepe, since they are not one of the top teams in the Turkish Super League. I recommend using one of the counter-attack setups if it helps you more. The mentality is positive to pair it with the setup. Out of possession, we try to keep the team compact and to recover the ball as far away from our goal as possible. If this fails, we need to make sure the opposition team does not breach our lines. The player instructions remain as they were given by the game. As team instructions, in possession, I kept it as standard as possible, but close to Stanimir Stoilov's principles. The out-of-possession team instructions pair up with the roles chosen for the players. I simulated only one full season using this tactic. I didn't have high expectations, given that I didn't control the outcome of the games. In FM24, I used this tactic while actively playing, so I tweaked it as I needed on a game-to-game basis. However, to be fair, Çaykur Rizespor won the league title in my simulated season, so do take everything with a pinch of salt. Domestically, the club was eliminated in the group stage. Sure, the outcome of the simulated season is not the best one and is not close to how the team plays in real life, but Stanimir Stoilov's approach remains one to be studied for years to come. Whether you use the 3-4-1-2 or the 3-5-2 setup, you may find glory using this tactic in your save. I will continue to follow Stanimir Stoilov's managerial career, and I hope he gets all the praise he deserves.